Wyoming is a great place to hold your digital assets inside of an LLC. Wyoming's legislature has created really powerful laws which protect those digital assets in a variety of different ways. They have consulted with industry experts to draft these laws, and really there's nowhere else in the country where your digital assets will be safer. There are some questions that come up during the process of whether someone should decide to open up a digital asset LLC in Wyoming. The first one is, what is a digital asset LLC? The second is, why would I want one? The third is, how do I fund this digital asset LLC with assets held on an exchange account? And then finally, how do I fund this LLC with digital assets that I hold in cold storage or on a hardware wallet or paper wallet in some other way? So, starting about first, why you would want a digital asset LLC. Wyoming's laws give digital assets a very defined place within the Uniform Commercial Code. The Uniform Commercial Code is a body of law that has been adopted and is used in all 50 states to identify how certain assets can be held and how someone can take a security interest in them. So, if you are using a Wyoming LLC to hold your digital assets, they would fall under the Uniform Commercial Code and would have very defined rules about how someone can access them or take control of them. It is often the case in states where the digital asset laws have not been updated and the Uniform Commercial Code has not been updated, that there's this sort of no man's land of where digital assets stand. Are they a commercial asset? Are they a personal asset? How can someone take control of them? How do you show that you have control or have taken a security interest in them? So Wyoming takes away a lot of that uncertainty. So why would you want a digital asset LLC in Wyoming? And this is a more interesting question. So if you are just holding your digital assets in an LLC, it provides great protection to them. Wyoming has something called charging order protection, which means that a personal judgment creditor of a member, that judgment creditor cannot break into the LLC and take its assets. They would need to obtain a charging order against the LLC, which means they sit on the outside of the LLC and they can wait for a distribution to be made, but they can't break into the LLC itself and take its assets. So that's a great use for a personal digital asset LLC in Wyoming. If you want to do different things with your digital asset LLC, such as issue tokens or do an ICO or solicit outside investors or sell NFTs, you're going to need a greater degree of support from an attorney licensed in the area of securities law. That is a very complex area of law, and it can be quite expensive to obtain the consultation of an attorney in that area. We do have attorneys to who we can make referrals for you, but if you just want to hold digital assets in your LLC for your own personal use and for your own safekeeping, that is something we absolutely can assist you with. But if you're looking to issue securities or issue tokens or really start a business founded on the blockchain, you're going to need outside advice and counsel. Once you've determined that a digital asset LLC is right for you to hold your personal digital assets, you will need to get assets into the LLC. If you own digital assets already currently on an exchange, you hold them on an exchange, you will need to open up an exchange account in the name of the LLC. It's often called an institutional account, and there's many of the exchanges provide this service. So you would open it up in the name of XYZ LLC, and then you can transfer your assets into the wallet of the LLC on the exchange. That in most cases will not be a taxable event because ultimate beneficial ownership has not changed. You were the owner in your individual name, you're now the owner in the LLC itself. Talk to your tax advisor, though, about the implications of your particular situation. If you have assets, however, which are held in a cold storage wallet or on a paper wallet or on a hardware wallet, there are no documents of title. There's no ownership attached to that wallet. And so one of the questions we often receive is, how do I make a record of the transfer of those digital assets into my LLC? We have devised a solution which is available for all of our clients to use. You need to create a formal written record of that transfer. So as of a particular date, a particular wallet was no longer owned by you as an individual. but was instead owned by your LLC. The analogy I use here is of a painting. If a painting is hanging on your wall, it may not be clear as to who the owner is, but if there is a document which says this is actually owned by the Museum of Modern Art and they lent it to me, that would prove to everyone who tried to take that asset to settle your personal debts that it was not actually yours. It was the Museum of Modern Art's painting lent to you. So the same thing applies here when it comes to digital assets. That wallet, which holds those digital assets as of a particular day, would be identified in an assignment of digital asset document signed and notarized by you, which says that as of this day, this asset is no longer mine. These digital assets are no longer owned by me, they're owned by my LLC. If you were asked what assets you own, you would not disclose those assets because they're owned by your LLC. Now, if someone asked you, what does your LLC own? You would have to tell them that it owned this digital asset. Even if someone, though, at a later date said, well, I know that he owned these Bitcoin, why doesn't he own them anymore? He must have sold them or did something with them. What you could do is provide that asset assignment agreement and say, no, as of this day, I was no longer the owner. My LLC was. Those assets would then be protected by Wyoming's very protective digital asset laws and protected by charging order protection. So again, what is a digital asset LLC? It's one that's specifically tailored to hold digital assets under Wyoming law. Why would you want one? Because of charging order protection and greater level of certainty as to the status of those digital assets under the law. You would fund an exchange account with digital assets by opening up an exchange account in the name of the LLC. And finally, you would use a digital asset assignment agreement to move assets held in a cold storage wallet or hardware wallet into your LLC.